Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dave.
I was wondering if a couple people might be hopping on early since Chirag ended a few minutes early.
Yeah, that was unusual.
Right. Okay.
Dave, am I going to see you in San Diego?
I will be in San Diego, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to be when in San Diego. So we will not be attending the actual events because we're not Compass agents. We're not allowed to buy a ticket technically. So we are there and we are doing things here and there with various clients. So if you'd like to hook up, I would love to do that. We have to figure out where we'll be when. I'm actually going on Tuesday. I have to do a couple things then. And then Wednesday and actually Thursday, I'm leaving a little bit early because I need to be back here on Friday for my leadership program. So if you have time on Wednesday, would love to connect with you somehow. We'll need to figure out where we are at what time. So let's talk offline about that, Wayne, and anybody else who wants to connect would love to see if we can make that happen. It's
Well,
great
I
to
know
see
someone
everybody
on your
virtually,
team
but
is,
as long as we'll be in the same city for once, it'd be great.
I know someone on your team is doing something, two people.
Yeah, we have an event Wednesday evening for our mastermind folks. So if you know anybody who's in either of the mastermind groups, they've been invited to an event that we're putting on just for them.
Okay.
Part of that program. But I would love to see somebody during the day if we're able to work that out. Where are you staying, Wayne?
I live here.
Oh, of course, that's right. Okay. Correct. You're staying at home.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah. Well, it's the question of the last week or so, where are you staying? Where are you staying? What are you attending?
Yeah, David, I haven't forgot to find out where I'm staying. I know I'm staying somewhere for sure.
Well, I'm glad you have someplace. Otherwise, you'll be over at Wayne's house.
No, sleeping in my car. I'm
You
joking.
can't get a room, right?
Yeah, I know, but I have reservations and my team have it for me, and but I never pay attention really that where is it. But so I'm gonna look at the papers and emails and let you know. So I know that's within 10 minutes walk to the venue.
Got
So
it. Let me just do a quick poll for those of you who are on video. Can you just raise your hand? How many of you who are going to retreat are going for your number one reason is for learning or attending the events of the retreat? For how many of you is that the number one reason? Okay, got it. Thank you. And for those of you that's not the number one reason, for those of you who are going to connect with others, attend events, parties or whatever, how many of you is that the number one reason? Okay. And so for anybody who did not raise their hand yet, what's your primary reason for going to retreat? Lance, I don't know if I saw your hand up.
I'm actually not going to retreat.
You're not going. Okay. No one.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. How about someone else who is planning on going, but has another specific reason that's their number one reason for going? Anybody else? Okay, got it. Because we hear from a lot of folks who are going, but they're not necessarily going to the events, and many of them don't even buy tickets. They're just in the city and they're connecting with other people that they know or other people that they want to get to know better. So, yeah, not surprised. I mean, there seem to be so many events happening around the around the conference events themselves that it's become a big deal even for those who aren't actually attending anything. Okay, cool. So we're on time now. So let's talk a little bit about today's. Is that Miriam? Have a ticket. Someone regretting that. Why are you regretting having a ticket, Miriam? You're not the first one who said that to me, by the way. Why do you say that? Can you come off mute? Are you able? Oh, price. Got it. Okay. Yep. Got it. Well, I've heard other people say the same thing. It's not cheap, that's for sure. And hopefully, when you have a ticket and you attend those things, that you can get something valuable out of it for you in the business. Okay, so let's move on to today's topic. We wanted to talk about distinguishing yourself, starting from the the reality that there's, the quote that I keep hearing is there's 3 times as many agents in America as there are homes for sale right now. And whether that's 100% accurate or not, I don't know. Obviously, not all of those agents are as serious as all of you, but nonetheless, it paints the picture of the serious competition that's out there. When you add to that the fact that people have some people have had experience buying houses before, so they know what working with agents is all about. They're getting all kinds of cards and mailings from various agents about them and their business. And the client has to make a choice as to who it is he or she wants to work with to entrust with this extremely important financial transaction. And so the question we wanted to explore today is, how do you distinguish yourself from everyone else out there when you're handling a lead? Whether it's a cold call and you're contacting somebody out of the blue, you've never talked to them before, they don't know who you are, or maybe you're getting ready and going to do a listing presentation. What is your ace in the hole to distinguish yourself from others? I'm just curious how many of you are clear about what that is for you. So I'd like to hear 1 or 2 people just kind of raise your hand, and I'll we'll take you off mute and see what that is for you. Because Chirag talks many times about the importance of talking with people, right? Everything always comes down to how you talk with people in the moment. And from my point of view, yes, it's that. I usually use the word relate, because a person has an experience of how you're relating with them. And so, we're more or less talking about the same thing. So I'm curious, when you're working with a lead, cold or otherwise, how do you distinguish yourself from the 1,000,001 other people out there? Mo, I saw your hand. Can you unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so it's the thing that I'm learning this year, really, to be present and listening and asking questions. Because the tools that we have is available to all the agents, right? So the tools are not important, like MLS, signpost, all those type of things. So these are bare, you don't even need to talk about it, because even the sellers knows. So it's the thing that you have to find out why they are selling and be asking question and be present. You build the trust. I think it's the only way. I'm practicing it right now with my appointments, and even if I'm not even fluent in it, I'm not 100%, but since in past couple of months that I'm working on it with the help of a coach, and it's amazing results. That when you ask the right question, people just talk and and tell you all you want to know.
Got it. Thank you, Mo. Well, I'm glad for your attention to all this. And, somebody who's been in this business as long as Mo has still has the humility to say, I could do something better. I could do just something different. And if he says he's getting amazing results, that's wonderful. And it's a great point about, other people have the same tools. You are competing against other Compass agents, and they can whip out the same stuff you can, but it's something more than that. And so thank you for that, Mo. Let's hear from Donna. Donna, how about you?
Sorry. Absolutely what Mo said. I think the biggest thing I got from this so far this year is switching the whole thing from me to them. It used to be about me and what my company and Compass and all that. And now it's about what is it that you're looking for? Let me help you in your journey. And it's just a game changer.
Got it. So I hear you asking a question, right? Like, what is it that matters to you?
Just make it about them and not about you,
Yep. Got it. Thank you. Wayne, how about you? How do you distinguish yourself from so many others, including Compass agents?
I just think Donna already said it, but you guys have taught us to ask questions like, what is it that you're looking for in an agent that you're going to partner up with in the sale of your home? Just ask the question. And then let's say if they say communications, and you level shift to communication, you talk about your written communication plan. So you guys have already covered that with us, in my view.
Yep. Got it. Thank you. Chirag mentioned mindset a minute ago. And included in mindset is, mindset is upstream to action, right? If you think about what's your perception of what this thing called a listing presentation or a cold call is all about. And whatever your conception of that is influences what actions you choose to take in that particular moment, including asking a question or not asking a question or talking about yourself or making it about the other. So the mindset, the approach that you have comes first, and then the actions flow from that. And so we want to make sure that we're examining what is our mindset for this. If the mindset is, hey, I'm going to show you how great I am and how much experience I have, of course, it's likely that you're going to talk about that. A very different mindset is, I don't need to talk about myself, or I'm not going to talk about myself. I'm simply going to try to find out what I can about that person, as Donna or Wayne is suggesting, and Mo mentioned as well. Okay, so let me pull up a couple of slides on this, and I'd like you to kind of think through as we do this, because everyone should have a clear intention about how you want to distinguish yourself. It's not just knowing your strengths. It's not just being able to talk about what it is you offer in a way that perhaps, benefits the client in knowing you. It's recognizing what makes you unique and valuable. What is a unique value that you offer compared to everybody else out there? There are a lot of skilled people on these calls. There are a lot of experienced people on these calls. And yet every one of you is unique. You have a unique opportunity to connect with or influence the people that you engage. And whether you're engaging them on the phone or it's a text message or whatever, you always have that opportunity. So let's talk a little bit about some factors here to think about, and then we'll come back, we'll talk a little further. All right. Distinguishing yourself when handling leads. Well, here's an interesting paradox. One is that potential clients want to find somebody who's special. At the same time, there's this idea that people offering the same service are more or less the same. And when people think broadly of, let's say, real estate agents or lawyers or doctors, in a sense, they're all offering the same service. But the people want the special thing within that large population of people who are all offering the same service. And so what is it that makes you that unicorn among those millions of other people? And how can you make sure that that person can understand that in the 2 minutes you might be talking with them, or the 10 minutes you might be talking with them, or the 30 minutes that you might be talking with them? It always comes down to the experience that they have of you in that moment and what they think of whatever that experience is. So a question I have for all of you to think about is, are they swayed by your expertise? That is, I've been doing this for 30 years. I really know the market. I know tons of other agents, blah, blah, blah. Or is it more about the way that you talk with them, the way that you listen to them, the way that you respond to whatever it is they say? Or is it something else? If so, what is that? What is your unique element that sets you apart, that distinguishes you from everybody else? It's no surprise to think that many of the people who come to you are also shopping other agents. They're interviewing 2, 3, 4, maybe more people, who knows? And they're comparing what they experience with the others compared to you. And so how do you let them understand that you have a unique value proposition for them? Part of that is obviously how you share your value prop, but a big part of it is the energy you bring and how you conceive of what it is you're trying to do in your work, that kind of thing. So it's something that bears our reflection over time. What is it that I want to bring to this person in this moment that they can experience and value? And if I asked all of you to write down what that is right now, I bet some of you would have nothing to write down. You're not quite sure. That's okay. We're here to get clearer. And secondly, any of you might identify the same thing. And so if we did this with 400 agents and 200 of them all said the same thing, they're maybe not as unique as they think they are. And so how can we get a little bit more unique than everybody else? So what are you trying to do when you have that conversation with someone, whether it's a cold call, you're talking with them in the first place or for the first time, or whether it's a presentation, listing presentation, or whether you're just bumping into somebody in the elevator and, they say, hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm a real estate agent. What is it that you're trying to make happen in that moment with that person in a general sense? Well, from my point of view, there's lots of things, but one way to think about it is 3 things that you want to be happening during the course of that interaction. See if these are true for you or not. I'll ask you afterwards. One, and most importantly, you need to make a connection with them that they recognize as a connection on their terms. In other words, they are having an experience of you. The question is that experience of you one that they feel some kind of a connection to you? This is the same thing on a date or something like that. But the point here is connecting on their terms. Remember the first rule of successful agents, the first principle that we talked about several sessions ago. People will not be influenced by you unless and until they feel related to by you. And so your first goal is to give them an experience of being related to. And that's hard to do when you don't know the person. You don't know how they see the world. You don't know what they value. You don't know what their interests are. You don't know what they're bringing into that space at that particular moment in time. You can try to find those things out, but the goal is to connect on their terms where they say, I connected with this person, which what really means is this person connected with me. Secondly, you want to extend the conversation. Whenever you're in a conversation with someone, you want to extend it as long as they want to extend it. In other words, you don't want them to cut off the conversation. Right? You don't want to say something or do something or not say something where they say, I'm done here. If possible, you want to extend the conversation. And third, obviously, you want to influence the next step. Whether that's hiring you, whether it's signing a contract, whether it's having another conversation, you want to extend the conversation in a way that helps them get to the point where they're ready to have the next step. So how do you distinguish yourself from others? Well, I've got 6 or 7 things listed on here. The first 3 or 4 are kind of like strategic. And the last 3 are more specific tactics that we've mentioned here many times before, that if you're not doing these things, you should really consider how you can apply them in a way that has value to you. So here are some things. While other people who are interviewing, when other agents are out there talking in this situation, you need to be asking questions, both open-ended questions and tell me more questions. Open-ended questions are questions that cannot be answered with a yes or no. This is about extending the conversation. When you ask a question like, hey, do you want a backyard? Yes. But if you say, why do you want a backyard? Then they'll give you all kinds of information. Well, we love to barbecue. We do this thing every Sunday in the fall. It's a big thing. Football. Oh, you're football fans. What team do you like? What teams do you follow? Right? An open-ended question allows them to get right to the heart of the matter and gives you a direct connection to what matters most to them, as well as inviting them to tell you more. The tell me more questions are just that. They're invitations to tell me more about something that you might think really matters to them. And so if you're never asking open-ended questions, and open-ended questions begin with what, where, when, why, and how. If you typically don't ask those questions, if you typically ask more yes and no type questions, you need to start sprinkling some open-ended questions into your way of communicating. And if you never say, tell me more about X, you might be missing an opportunity. When you sense that there's something important to them or something that they like to talk about, when we say connecting with them on their terms, that means talking about the things they want to talk about. That means being interested in the things that they're interested in. And so if they start to talk about how they love to barbecue, that's a great opportunity to say, tell me more about how you do your barbecues. Oh my God, I've been doing it for 15 years. We blah, blah, blah. Right? Immediately they're animated, they're in their happy space, and you're right there with them. Secondly, while others are trying to impress, you try to connect. Your search in a conversation should be, what is it that I can connect with in this person, and how can I do that? While others will try to perform, right? By perform, I mean say all the right things, appear the right way, wear the right clothing, all of that stuff. Yeah, there's some value to that to some extent, but you have the opportunity to contribute. Did you ever go to a store and you asked them if they sold X and they said, no, we don't sell that, or we're out of it right now? And then you say, do you know any other places that I could go to get it? Because I really need to get one of these today. And they send you to one of their competitors. Have you ever had that conversation with somebody? I have. I'm often impressed by how nice it feels to me that somebody will send me to one of their competitors because they want to serve my need, even though they just told me they don't have it. That's a contribution that I typically don't forget about. Maybe you don't either when that happens. While others will promise, you paraphrase. So here's some tactical things. while others are promising things, nothing wrong with promises. Of course, you can certainly promise things, but it's a different thing to say, okay, I'll send you a CMA, or I'll send you some market information, or I'll send you XYZ. You can think about it. Certainly okay to do that. But if you're never saying something like, what I'm hearing is most important to you is, then you're missing the opportunity for them to recognize that they're being related to. Because when you feed back to somebody what I'm hearing from you, you're demonstrating that you heard what they said and you understood it. And chances are, if you were paying attention, like Mo is saying he is, chances are you got at least 95% of it right. When you say, what I'm hearing most important to you is the opportunity to indulge your interest in painting. That's why you're looking for, a house with enough land to build a studio. And the other thing that you mentioned that's so important to you is the opportunity to develop a garden, right? You love gardening, right? When you feed those two things back, when they say, oh my gosh, I told this person I care about having a studio and I care about gardening, and this person got it. And this person says, great, we can find something like that around here. They feel related to. While others are defending their commission, you're doing Med C. Everybody know what Med C is? You should by now. And if you're not familiar with it, you need to get more familiar with it. Motivations, expectations, disappointments, and concerns. Chirag and I came up with this very early in the game after hearing from so many agents, recognizing what it is that we can build on together to create connection with someone. And the reason this is powerful is psychological. Motivations, that's about joy, right? That's asking them, why is it, what's your motivation for moving, right? It's not necessarily that question, but it's, why do you want to move? What are your expectations of an agent, right? This tells you what's worked in the past, maybe what isn't, what it is they're looking for. Disappointments that they've had in the past, either through real estate agents or other people providing services to them. This gives you a clue as to what it is you better avoid, because this already disappointed them the last time. And C is concerns. What fears, worries do they have about any part of this process? The reason that this is powerful psychologically is motivation is about joy, disappointment is about sadness, and concerns is about fear. And you need to recognize that humans connect with each other emotionally, not like rationally from the prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex is the seat of analysis, reason, learning, language, all that stuff is up here. Emotion is in your amygdala, in your midbrain, in the limbic system of your brain. And that's where we experience fear, happiness, joy, sadness, all that stuff. And so the Med C connects with that. It helps them feel the disappointment that they had before, the fear that they might be having right now, the joy that they might be having in thinking about getting a new place. And the point is, you're right there with them at that moment. If you can truly be present and connect with them and paraphrase back what it is that you heard from them about some of that stuff, they'll be connecting with you both intellectually, like from the prefrontal cortex, as well as emotionally. Very powerful. Can be all you need to do to make that connection early in the relationship. While others are defending the market, you're explaining what I control, what you control, what neither of us controls. Is everyone familiar with this one? I'm going to just pull this down for a minute and pull the other one up. I control, you control what we both control. Chirag has mentioned it many times on many different calls. It's in our platform. If you go into the platform and you just type in the search bar control, it's going to list a bunch of sessions that we've done in the past where we've talked about this, and there'll be one or two listed in there, which are the actual resources or documents themselves. And here's the main one, keys to an effective partnership for sellers, what you control, I control, no one can control. And then the second page for buyers, it's in the platform, print it out when you have time, think about it, and groove yourself to be able to say this smoothly and easily. This is something that distinguishes you from everybody else because nobody else is talking about it like that. Finally, let me go back to the screen again. And finally, while others are flubbing their replies to objections, you've grooved your unique replies. Like I think Wayne might have mentioned this before. If you were to partner with an agent, what would you be looking for that agent to do for you that you can't easily do on your own? Right? This gets right to the gap of what it is they need. These are the things that distinguish you from others. And so what you have here is in the first three, you have kind of three different kind of like philosophical approaches here, which is learning more, connecting, contributing. And then these last ones are more about tactics. Of course, there's many others, but if you can just mix and match these things in a smooth and tactful way, you can't help but give the other person an experience of being related to. And that's what will distinguish you from others. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what we saw here. All right, so let me hear from you. Which one of these stands out for you as something that you might want to apply a little bit more or think a little bit more about as you kind of move forward with trying to distinguish yourself? Mo, please go ahead.
I want to say something that really, because right now our crowd is pretty small. It's 23, 24 of us on this call. So I want to mention this. Dave, we haven't talked because I and Dave, we have a one-to-one session. But in past week or so, I signed up around $25 million of listing. And just, Dave, whatever you're teaching me, I'm just butchering it. I mean, I'm not really fluent in it. But if little things, this is out of, say, 100% that you tell me to do, I'm doing it like maybe 25, 30, 40% of the max. But amazing result. It's unbelievable. I mean, I'm so excited. I cannot mention it, with our 200 agents that on the Chirag's call. But in this community of small people, and, with that preparation before conversation, in a conversation, and after the conversation, I sat down and with a long hand just asked the question myself before and to just ingrain it. And I'm practicing it and amazing result, because really the intention before you go to the meeting is like everything. That, okay, why you're there? Just ask that question, why you're talking to these people. And it opens door. I cannot really believe it. It's like a magic. But I can see myself when I master it. Wow. One of the things, David, is one of them is a $17 million listing that I'm working on it for a year. And the guy says, no, I'm not ready. And I asked again, I kept questioning. He called me up. So I just did, and I didn't do a presentation. I brought the paper, going, okay, hey, Fred, sign it. Bing, bang, boom, took the paper and left. 20 minutes, not less than 20 minutes. It's a long way to sell it, really, from this point. But whatever you say, people have to believe that really practicing it. And it takes so much time. It means that really ingrain it. Talk it out loud, read it, reread it, say it, you'll talk to yourself. Go in front of mirror, or not mirror even, just in your office. It's too much talk. But really, it pays off. Because I'm the person that I thought my act was together. Oh, I can do it. And I'm doing it for a long period of time. But when you refine it, these minute things that go, it's not minute, it's very big. You get a different result.
Got it. Well, thank you, Mo. I'm so grateful to hear of, that level of success. If you're getting 25 million in listings, being 25% effective at the stuff that we're talking about, then you could say that that's theoretically $100 million worth of value.
Exactly. Right? As I'm saying, as I'm saying, David, imagine if I master this, I can capture a city. All the listing in the city. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's wonderful to hear that you're having that success with it. And it doesn't surprise me. I always say that this work is what we call personal mastery work. Personal mastery means leading and managing yourself in the ways that release your potential. And so it gets a little, I don't want to say woo-woo, but it gets a little bit deep and philosophical, but you can see the results that Mo experiences and others as well. When we apply these kinds of techniques and mindsets effectively, it's incredible what can happen. I think I've told you in the past that, some people applied I spent 2 hours coaching someone once, and she got $100,000 worth of commission out of that in a 1 hour conversation with somebody in a field she knew nothing about. And so, that was $100,000 per hour value to her in applying this stuff effectively. And I've had many cases. I think I've told you the story where I applied some of these things, and I talked with one lady who didn't know me and I didn't know her for 20 minutes, and she gave me a $20,000 contract to coach somebody. And then before I even started coaching that person, a couple of days later, she called me up again and said, "Hey, I have another problem. Can you help me, figure out how to handle this?" So I just gave her another experience of being related to, and she gave me another contract for $17,000. And so in 40 minutes of time, I got $37,000 worth of contracts. And that's not difficult. I mean, it's difficult to do on one level, but as Mo was saying, once you're really good at this stuff, it's really easy to have those really transformative results in your life. I want everybody to understand that no matter how successful you've been, and no matter how confident and comfortable or uncomfortable or unconfident you are, you can change the way that you experience your business significantly by shifting your mindset and shifting your actions. And, Chirag and I are here every day, and other, expert mentors are here every day to try to help you do that. But I've seen it many, many, many times, just like Mo was talking about. And so we want to encourage all of you not just to show up for the calls and listen to them, but to really implement what we're talking about. Sometimes it means maybe you need to work with a coach more personally, but you don't have to. You can certainly do this stuff on your own. And we want to set up all of our products in the future so that you're able to continue to take what's here and implement it. But you have to have some humility, you have to have some courage, and you have to have some effort. And if you have that, I guarantee you can experience a completely different level of success, and not just success, but fulfillment in what it is you do. I can guess that not only is Mo happy with the fact that he's getting $25 million worth of listings, but he's happy with the quality of the interactions that he's having with the people along the way, that they may have moved from not so great to better, or maybe they moved from better to really good, right? There's something about the experience of it that's every bit as important as the dollars involved. So let me hear from one more person. What comes up for you when you're thinking about all these things we've talked about here? Is there a specific tactic, a mindset shift? What is it that comes up for you? Miriam?
Gotta pay way more attention, and really pay close attention. And I think asking open-ended questions is difficult. It's way easier than asking those close-ended questions.
Yes.
So there's a lot of focus. And I have to say, asking simply the question, asking what is it that you're looking for in an agent. Everybody when I started doing that, everybody is so refreshingly surprised, like they can actually care about me. So I think if you just do that, it's super powerful.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. It goes back to the first statement, where people are looking for a unicorn, but they kind of expect everyone's going to treat them the way that they've been treated in the past, or they have this kind of baseline average of what they think everybody's going to give them. And it's not impossible. It's not extremely difficult to give them something completely different. And when you do, suddenly, your successful listings jump, or you get more referrals, or something else happens that just hasn't happened for you. So it's really important to everyone to really pay attention to all this stuff, really get clear about what your mindset is. What's your intention going in? How do you intend to create the outcome that you're looking for? If you were on my call a week or two ago, we were talking about before and during and after. And a couple of those before, questions are, what is my intended outcome here? Or what's my intended impact? Right? And then what's my strategy or approach for achieving that? It's totally different from just going in and shooting from the hip, which is what most of us do 99% of the time. Right? Just forcing yourself to write down some things like that, like, what is my intended outcome here today? What is my intended impact? How am I going to achieve that? And what are the specific action steps I'm going to take to do that? Or something else about your mindset. I want to connect, or I want to contribute, or I want to inspire them to dream big, right? Whatever it is, if you're clear about it ahead of time, it makes it 1,000% more likely that you're going to experience that. And ultimately, they can have a unique experience of you that they don't have quite like that with anybody else on the planet. And when that happens, that means you're adding real value to their life. It means they want to be with you. They want to refer you in the future. Success and happiness for all. So thank you, everybody. Great to have you with us this morning. Look forward to seeing you. Those of you who can make it to San Diego next week, and for everybody else, we'll see you all again soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.